Alright, so in this worksheet, we're going to talk about non-metal reactivity. So first of all, the non-metal is going to be tend to gain electrons to form anions. It is because the non-metal are on the right-hand side of the periodic table, so they will be having high group number. So they also have high valence electron, like 5 or 6 or 7. So they would like to tend to like gain electrons to get push out. So if they gain electrons going to be more, electrons going to be the winner. So they will form negative charge, which is anions. Now, the non-metal reactivity, all right, one thing I want to talk about is now non-metal usually including noble gas. Like noble gas is non-metal, but in this particular worksheet, we would not include the group 18 noble gas. Okay, we cannot compare the reactivity for noble gas because the noble gas already get pushed out. All right, because they have already get like stabilized, they don't even form ions. So there's no way for you to compare the reactivity because they are not reactive at all. So in this worksheet, everything will be like stop until like group 17. So we don't include 18, okay? Now this worksheet also, again, we got to talk about the down the group and also across the period. So on the notes here, it also explains each situation detailedly. So we compare right down the group F and the Cl. So F, we got a period 2, group 17, 7 valence electron, so they want to gain 1 electron. And P and the Cl is a 3 period, 17 group number, 7 valence electron, they want to gain 1 electron too. Now F and Cl, they both on the same group, so they both want to gain 1 electron. Now, if you look it up, let's say you want to imagine there's a nucleus on the top. So F is actually more easier to gain electron. Now, here we're talking about gain electron, okay, because they're non-metal. Now, F will be easier to gain 1 electron because the valence electron are closer to the nucleus. So imagine there's a nucleus here. F is more closer to the nucleus. I want to gain. Right, so F will be easier to gain it because it's so close. So the nucleus can grab the electron easier. Now on the other hand, Cl is less easier to gain 1 electron because Cl is so far away from the nucleus. It had 3 shells, right? So in this case, F, right, only have 2 shells, 2 period, more easier to gain electron, more reactive, then F will have bigger reactivity. And Cl on the other hand, all right, because they're so far away, all right, it's less easier for Cl to gain electron, less reactive, then will be smaller reactivity. So when you go down to the group, from the top to the bottom, you see that the reactivity go from big to small. So that means the non-metal reactivity will be decreasing down the group from big to small when you go to this direction. And the non-metal on the bottom, which is Cl, will be less reactive than the one on the top. Okay, less reactive. Now across the period, we got to do the same thing. We compare the oxygen and fluorine. And the oxygen have second period, 16 group number, 6 valence electron. They want to gain 2 electron. And fluorine is on the same period, period 2. They have 17 group number, 7 valence electron, and gain 1 electron. So across the period, you can tell they both on the same period. Right? Both oxygen and F have 2 shells, the second shell. But oxygen is less easier to gain electron. Oxygen is less easier to gain electron because oxygen needs to gain 2. All right, it looks like it takes more energy. You need to gain 2. But fluorine is actually more easier to gain electron because F only needs to gain 1. So it's easier. So oxygen here is they want to gain more electron, right? They want to gain 2, so you need to take more energy. It will be less easier to gain electron, less easier to get the job done. So it will be less reactive, will be smaller reactivity on the oxygen. And for the F, because you only need to gain 1 electron, you gain less. So it's less energy required, so it will be more easier to get the job done. Gain electron will be more reactive, will be bigger reactivity. So if you're going across the period from the left to right hand side, all right, the reactivity go from small to big. So the non-metal reactivity will be increasing down the group. Across the period from left to right. And the non-metal on the right hand side is going to be more reactive than the left hand side. Now when we combine the two trends, okay, we say down the group will be decreasing, right? Decreasing. And then across the period will be increasing. Again, we're going to separate it, right? Decreasing will be go from big to small, and increasing will be go from small to big. Now again, when we draw the trend, we always go from small to big. Always go from small to big. So when we combine the two into one, we go small to big, which is here. This is the non-metal reactivity trend. Okay? You can tell it got to the right-hand side with the boron. I'm sorry, not with the boron, with the bigger size, and then the smaller side will be on the bottom. Now, how do we remember this is a non-metal, not the metal one? Non-metal has the non-metal must be on the right-hand side of the periodic table, and this one, the bigger size, the arrow is also on the right-hand side. That's how I remember. So then the back, we have also more reactive and less reactive. So we draw the trend, right? This time it's non-metal, so we draw the trend like this. We arrange CL and BR. CL is on top of BR. Then he assumes which one is more reactive, that will be CL, because CL is closer to the big side. So CL is more reactive than BR. And this kind of question is asking you which one is less reactive for F and O. So we draw the same trend, right? And then we arrange the elements. Now, which one is less reactive will be oxygen, because oxygen is closer to the small side. And then on the bottom here, I go over one question in class is, again, if it's decreasing, will be from big to small. And then the crocodile mouth always facing to the big side. Now, on the other hand, if you're talking about increasing order will be from small to big. And then your mouth will be always facing to the bigger size, right? So increasing, decreasing. Make sure you get this done, right? It tells you two things. Number one, it tells you you should start from small or big. And number two, it will tell you what symbol you use. So make sure you get this done. So on the last question, right, with this non-metal, we draw the trend, big and small, and then we arrange the elements from the periodic table. And because this is decreasing order, we say decreasing is from big to small, and the mouth is always facing to the big side. All right? So we're using this symbol, and also we should start from big, which is start from F, because F is near the big side. So it's going to be F bigger than O, bigger than N, bigger than P.